Hello, everybody. So this is a guy I've wanted to do a video on for a while. He was from the Bowling Green Sting and had one of the most memorable screen names that we remember. Yeah, and there's memorable for a few reasons. It's kind of. We'll delve into We've got the Uncut interview. So we're going to have a look at that. There is some... I've had a brief look at the interview. It's interesting. His sort of reaction to the confrontation with Chris is memorable. I can tell you're a therapist. Let's have a look at that, shall we? Now, as you can see, there's a bizarre... I mean, is that kind of the laughter of someone that is caught in that situation? I'd kind of love to delve into his mind a bit more, but without being, without being a psychiatrist myself, I think it's quite clear there's a detachment from reality from this guy that's quite significant, and we can see that in this little exchange now.
You still think this is all funny?
No, I don't know why you're asking me stuff like this. I mean,
It's all... Obviously, he hasn't fully grasped what's going on, which is why he's finding the humour in it, but it just... it's really bizarre, isn't it?
You think I'm curious about all this?
I can tell you're a therapist. I know. I mean, not just...
You think I'm a therapist?
Yeah, by the way
So you think that you came over here to meet this girl and magically a therapist sat down to help you through your problem?
You could put a lot of fucking means to that picture now, couldn't you? Do you know what's funny about that? Is, he's obviously... What I mean by he's detached from reality is he's kind of like... He's seen Chris... Chris does look like a therapist. He speaks very well. He's naturally kind of... would seem to be... He's trying to understand them. He's trying to delve into he's trying to figure out what the motivations are, etc. So obviously, he comes across like a therapist, but he's not. This guy, I mean, for fuck's sake, why would you think that you'd have this chat? You turn up there, she's there, and then the girl's there. And then she fucks off and a guy walks around the corner and it just happens to be a therapist. It's like they've set up some kind of therapy treatment room, a sting operation for therapy, which is kind of an interesting proposition, but yeah, you just think about it. I mean, ultimately, that would be... I mean, you're not going to cure a lot of these people, but obviously, this guy's failing to understand the legal implications of what he's done. There's so many... what I mean is detached from reality. It's like, why would your brain conjure up that? It's really bizarre.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Well, there's the answer.
Well, do you ever watch television?
No, sir.
No, sir.
There's something I got to tell you. I'm Chris Hansen, and I work for a show called Dateline NBC.
Okay.
And we're doing a story on adults who try to meet young teenagers online for sex.
Okay.
It's called To Catch a Predator. So if there's anything else that you'd like to tell us about your situation, we'd like to hear it.
I love my wife, and I know it doesn't look like it. I need to see a psychiatrist because of the way everything's going with my life.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead, and I hope you get that help.
As he gets up to...
I mean, you would think a lot of them at this point wouldn't understand that there's kind of get arrested. So he thinks that some of them will just think that, it's going to be on TV and that's the end of it. I'm just going to have to put up with the humiliation. And then, it's the kind of fears are realised when this kind of happens and they get locked up outside. But there's another interesting bit with regard to when he's in court. Look at his kind of... look at the way he's kind of... It's just a bizarre demeanor, isn't it? Like, I think it's acceptance, I think, of a total acceptance of his situation. Listen to the way he reacts to the judge.
Be felling. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, sir.
It's like there's no opposition, is there? It's like, right, okay, he's surrendered, it would seem, to his situation. But I do believe I mean, he might be drugged up or something there. His kind of detachment from reality could be that I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out why he's got a total grasp. I mean, it could just be as thick as pig shit. I mean, we all know people that just can't get a grasp on what's actually going on in their lives. He might just be one of those people, and that's why he sort of conjured up this bizarre narrative in his head where therapists just magically turn up. It could be. Could be, but there's a because he mentioned the psychiatrist, didn't he? It could be that he's so fully aware that he needs a psychiatrist that he's kind of like he's placed it there in his kind of it's been lingering in his mind that much that he's created it. Does that? I don't know if I worded it correctly there, but I think you know what I'm getting at. But shall we have a look at the interview?
Yeah, signature line. You can go ahead and sign it.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
So he's already started crying during the interview, and then the interviewer is being very kind of nice, really empathetic towards him, really playing the good cop, which is a good tactic to use, I think, with him.
Yes.
I just feel I don't.
Feel what?
I don't like it when anybody sees me like this.
Well, you know,
I wouldn't worry about shame at this point, pal. That's disappeared. Your integrity's gone.
I've seen people in worse situations.
Keep thinking I'd rather be in here for drugs. So,
Why's that? You ashamed of yourself?
oh yeah, that's obvious, but
Thinking about what your wife's gonna say when you get home? Or when she finds out? It's gonna be a hard conversation, but you know what? You can practice telling me the truth. That way, whenever you talk to her, you've already run it by me.
appreciate you taking time.
What an interesting tactic, you know. She's it's quite a sort of conniving way of trying to get around it, but it's very clever. It's like, right, okay, you're worried about your wife. Let's practice so that it's not as difficult when you speak to her. So go on and tell me the truth. And by the way, you're going to be, confessing to everything and getting me exactly what I want.
I just.
Now, can you print your name right under there?
Sorry.
And your address right below that.
Sorry, I don't mean to be this way.
Well, you know, sometimes you've been through a lot and you have to have that emotional release to deal with it.
I try not to. I just. Just rambling.
So, John,
Join my brother.
do you want to be present whenever they search your vehicle? Or
Come
can we
on.
open it? Well, that's, like I said, we'll have an opportunity to talk about these things and you can deal with it here instead of with her. Because she can be angry with you.
Very clever.
I'm not. I'm here to listen.
I know. Just,
Which is, considering that he thinks therapists turn up just to sort people out, it's not a bad tactic with this guy, because he's obviously got, naive is probably the such a, that seems to be a given.
Does she know you chat online?
no, she don't.
You chat a lot?
Well, not a whole lot. Not like I used to. I used to chat years ago a lot more, but not a whole lot like I used to.
When did you start?
Like chatting.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Back when internet first came out, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Bear chat was the first thing I chatted on.
What was it?
Bear chat. It's like text thing that you type in and people reply on it, kind of like a group room. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like an instant message thing. Yeah, called Parachat. I don't think it exists anymore.
Probably not. Things become obsolete so quick on the internet with computers and everything that
She's doing, she's playing it very well. She's just trying to make it appear like it's just a conversation, just a normal conversation, and that she's not part of any establishment. But at that point, he doesn't realise it. Well, he probably does, but, she's his enemy from a certain perspective. She's trying to get him locked up, and rightly so.
they're more advanced every day.
I know, it's fascinating.
Yeah. So, what brought you here tonight, John?
And just getting straight in there. It's a good I mean, it's obviously something that all the interviewers seem to use, that question, and it's a good question, isn't it? Unless you're totally thick and you say, a car, you know what I mean? My car.
I don't know how to explain it. I wish I'd...
Well, it has 4 wheels.
Well, you know what? Instead of thinking so hard about it, just tell me.
Fantasy. There.
Not really an answer. It's not the answer that's required for her, is it? We know what he means. She knows what he means, but it's not going to fantasy. It's not going to stand up in court, is it?
Just fantasy.
What kind of fantasies?
I don't know, to be with a young girl.
Oh, that's getting better now.
I'm not saying it's right or anything like that. I don't mean to make it sound that way.
What about a young girl makes that fantasy for you? I mean, help me understand. And if it helps you feel better, I'll role play for you and I'll be your wife and say, what in the world were you thinking with a 13-year-old?
Oh, God.
Here I am at home. Where'd you tell her you went?
I told her I had to go for a drive.
Well,
You
technically,
went
she
for a
was
drive
right.
and I get a call
He wasn't
from
lying.
you from the jail. Because you've been out chasing some 13-year-old? What in the world is wrong with you? I thought you loved me. I thought you appreciated me more than that. Which I'm sure she'll throw a few explicative words in there for you.
Yeah.
Won't she?
No, probably. More than likely.
Are you going to answer? Because you're not doing very well.
Oh,
right
I'm
now.
sorry.
In other words, listen, dude, I'm trying to get my way here, and you're not fucking doing it. So, get a move on.
I don't know. I'm giving up.
Giving up what?
I'm trying.
Come on, John. Now I need you to talk to me. I need you to open up.
This is gonna sound stupid. I don't want.
You
This
know
is
what?
gonna be on record. It's gonna sound dumb.
What could he possibly say that would... Oh, my God, is this on record? It's like, dude, nothing's going to be worse than what's already happened.
You worry about sounding stupid all the time, don't you? Well, you know what? I'm not here to judge you. I don't think you're stupid. I think you made a mistake. You had a fantasy. You had an opportunity to fulfill it. And you took a chance. And you're here now. Now's the time to deal with it. Get it off your chest. losing me. I don't understand what this has to do with a 13-year-old girl.
Just, it adds up. It does. How to say, I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, I'm hearing you, but I still need to know how you got here tonight. You told me a fantasy.
I drove here.
Do you remember what I said earlier about some people are going to be thick and say, "Oh well, it was a car that brought me here"? What a fucking moron!
Drove myself.
So you started chatting. What was the screen name you used?
Bald Beaver Hunter.
Oh my god! There's no getting out of that, is there? Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you might as it's basically I want to fuck kids, and get that's basically. God, I hope nobody takes sound edits out of this fucking video. That's basically what his screen name is, isn't it?
But I wouldn't look for a young girl when I made that name, though.
Okay. Right. So, two possibilities. Obviously that's either not the case, and he's talking shit, which is almost certain, or he likes to hunt small mammals that have no hair, of the beaver variety, which is going to be quite difficult, because if you're going to go out there and hunt beavers, which is whatever, but to find a bald one, it's going to be rather difficult, one would think, if not impossible. So, that's a bit strange. So my train of thought is that's nonsense.
No?
No, I promise not that time. I mean, I've had that fantasy, but I wasn't looking for a young girl at that time.
So
When she showed up in the room,
it's just do you know what? I never thought I'd hear myself say these words, but that might be the most ridiculous statement that anybody in TCAP history has come out with. It may even top anything that's left Lorne's mouth. Like, I wasn't thinking about young girls when I made the screen name Bald Beaver Hunter. Now, as I've already said, it is possible he likes hunting small hairless mammals, but as I've already said, it seems unlikely.
Because I it's 18 on her profile, but I can't remember right now really offhand.
So it seems like he's doing a bit of backtracking here. He's not backtracking, but he's kind of become a little bit aware of his situation and the gravity of it, so he's trying to bullshit his way out of it. Which, I mean, it's worth reiterating just how crazy his "I wasn't thinking about young girls when I made that screen name" comment is. What?
Now, John?
What?
You trying to tell me now you thought she was 18?
No, I'm just saying on the profile. No, I can tell by the picture. No, I don't mean it that way.
And she told you she was 13?
Yeah.
I think he was trying to wriggle out of it then, and she just called him out on it, and he's not opposed her at all. He's not, doesn't seem to be enough will in him to do that, or stupidity.
So, you used the name Bob Beaver Hunter. What was the person's name that you were chatting with? The screen name?
Give me a minute.
You chat with a lot of people?
Very... something.
Well, let me help you out.
I'm sorry, it's kind of hard for me to think right now.
Dreaming of Fairies.
Dreaming of Fairies, that's it.
Would that be you? And her?
Yeah.
Bob Beaver Hunter, 42025.
Yeah.
And then Dreaming of Fairies. She said she was 12.
Oh dear.
And you said, cool, 39 male here, bored, laugh out loud. So even if her profile...
He's kind of the archetype of someone who would be in that situation. You know, he mentioned in the segment, I know we've not, in the segment on TCAP, we've not mentioned it here, but he was in a marriage that was struggling. I believe he said he was in a job that's boring. He's overweight, doesn't appear to look after himself, doesn't look particularly good, I don't think. You know, dresses a little bit scruffily. Not much of a charmer, it would seem. Just looks like a miserable person. Someone who really hasn't got much. You know, somebody who's just looks like someone who's depressed, really, in a way.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that on the age thing, I think the only way they can put a thing on y'all, I think you gotta say 18, I think.
Oh.
That's what.
Oh, you're saying that the chat room you were in wouldn't allow for them to be in there if they were under 18.
That's what, yeah. Because I think it's the way it's standard on Yahoo now, I think.
Okay. So it was Yahoo that you chatted on? Went in the chat room? Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell me about this fantasy. Were you playing it out in your chats?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What'd you tell her you wanted to do?
Kiss her. And oral sex.
Well, get straight to it here. 12-year-old as well. I mean, you know, it's beyond the realms of an opportunist. A 12-year-old girl, 39-year-old guy who's married. Yeah, it's like we've said before. 12 just seems to make it significantly worse. You know what I mean? It's like a proper child, as opposed to somebody who's like 14, 15 who can exhibit some adult traits, you know, starting to develop. But a 12-year-old girl, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's like the sort of attractions that you've got there are deep rooted, aren't they? You somebody who's got a real problem. Let's see how we're doing for
when you talk to me.
Oh, sorry.
It offends me when you don't look at me. I don't like to be offended.
Okay.
Oh, it's getting hard, isn't she?
Well, I mean, do you like it if I look away whenever I talk to you? It's just kind of disrespectful, you know?
Oh.
I'm just
That's kind of... and I don't think he's doing it to be disrespectful. He's doing it... He's kind of away in his own world, really. Some people wouldn't look at him in that way because it is disrespectful and you know they're trying to be obstructive. But I don't think that's the case with him. But she's more likely to get what she wants if there's a direct eye contact there because it's a more uncomfortable position for him to be in. But saying that, though, could work the opposite way because if he's feeling more intimidated, he might not open up. So it is, you know, and she was doing quite well then as well. So it may have been the wrong tactic, but we'll see.
I understand you're embarrassed, but it's not anything that you can't deal with.
It's over. No, really, seriously, it's gone now.
Well, from what you just told me, it wasn't pleasant to begin with. You know, all you can do is take the cards you're dealt and make the best of it, or else change it.
Very true. Words of wisdom.
And you'll deal with that. I'm certain of it. You'll deal with that. You'll get through it. People have lived through much worse.
I wish you was a counselor.
There it comes again, isn't it? It's like, I think there may be something in that. He wants one so badly that, because if you, maybe overkill, but it's kind of what I do really. He may want one so much that he knows he's struggling so much that that's the reason why he's bizarre. I can tell you're a therapist, and he starts opening up and he's divulging information to Chris, just being that could be. It's kind of like when you want something to be true so much, you do start to see it. It does start to manifest in certain ways.
So I know you don't want to hear all this junk.
Well, I'd like to hear about these chats. Because with you having this fantasy, I can't help but believe that this isn't the first person you've been in contact with.
No, I'm serious. It is. No, I'm being serious. I'm serious.
I believe him. And that doesn't mean that his crime is any less. I just think some people, because if you think about how many people are caught on To Catch a Predator, there are going to be some that'll have been the first time they dabbled in such a situation. Certainly, the first time most of them would have gone to meet someone because they were speaking to somebody who was giving them what they wanted. A lot of the real people they're speaking to will have just fucked them off.
So where'd you find the child porn?
Off of people, off the rooms. In adult rooms.
You understand?
Yeah, I'm trying.
So he had. I mean, it adds weight to what I was saying earlier about being 12, and his sort of the deep-seated issues that he's got. She's he's into that kind of stuff. It's disturbing, obviously.
Okay. Well, I don't want to rush.
I make a lot of things.
It could be. This is probably the reason why he wants a therapist so much. He's probably struggled with these attractions all his life. It could be that he's struggled to face up to it. It would have been even more of a kind of challenging situation if he's married, but yet at the same time he's got this attraction that could be just genetic, as we've explained. That does seem to be the case. So, and on this occasion he's decided to just give into it.
Bouncing around in your head?
I just feel like hung out to dry, I guess.
So you knew it was wrong when you came here. You knew it was not a good choice to attempt to have sex with a 12-year-old.
Yes.
Did you consider that before you left the house? But you came anyway. Because this fantasy just took over, and because I noticed you were a little nervous. I guess just being there, thinking, wow, I'm going to get to live out this fantasy that I had.
Yeah.
So what was it about it? The fantasy. Tell me about the fantasy. What was it?
Just being able to have oral sex with a girl.
Oral sex? You performing it, or both ways?
No, me performing. That was my fantasy.
So that was your intention.
It's like it's more. Ironically, it is more like a therapy session. This I'm kind of not speaking as much as I usually do because I'm quite intrigued as to what's going on.
Yes.
And there's not that really much to say other than he seems to be just coming out with it, doesn't he?
Out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you traveled from Benton to see. Now, what was her name? Didn't she have a name that she gave you?
Crystal.
Crystal, that's right,
Crystal, yeah.
That sounds about right for somebody who likes fairies. It's a pretty name.
Okay, it's not got to do with anything.
So, John, you're telling me that you don't have any other minors that you're talking to online?
No, I do not.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
You ever been in trouble before?
No.
No court appearances or anything like that?
Well, my tags on my back of my car was out back several years ago.
Hang him.
That's the only one I had to go for. You know what I mean?
Registration
Yes,
expired?
I can't think of the name of them,
Yeah.
My light was out, and they pulled me over for that. And he said,
Reminds me of that Simpsons. You got a tail light out. Look, it's Chief Wiggum. You got a tail light out. I can't do Chief Wiggum's voice. He goes, where? Right there. You know, one of these days we're going to stand up to you, crooked cops. Really? Every Saturday?
Tag. And what's this? Your driver's license from Metropolis, Illinois. I said, that's where I used to live. I haven't got them changed over yet. So I had to go appear for that, and the judge told me, said that if I go get these things taken care of, they'll dismiss it, you know. Which they said that's the usual case on the first time thing, so that's why I did.
Are you ever around any young women or young ladies?
No.
Any family members?
Well, we go to a
Not my phone, by the way.
like a gathering, but I mean, I'm not like constantly with them. You know, like around alone. No.
Probably a good idea, isn't it?
Well, yeah, family was never an issue with me. You know what I mean? I don't look at family like that.
That's good. That's good. So, what else was
It's
gonna
true. I mean, it's possible.
happen? Like, did you bring anything with you
No.
for when you were?
Oh, an
Gonna be
intercourse?
there?
Intercourse?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do it. I was going to do the intercourse.
Okay.
That's what wasn't my intention.
Okay. Now, when you get online and chat, how did you prefer to do it?
Like how? I mean,
Okay, shall we? We'll continue with this next time. This therapy, this interview, this analysis of John Wesley Elliott's therapy session. Yeah, it's a bit different than the usual kind of interrogations, isn't it? We might as well continue. Well, let me know if you've enjoyed this part and whether you think it's worth continuing, and I will certainly do so. Please leave any comments. And like the video if you liked it, and I will speak to you soon.